If you've ever done soil sampling, you know the importance of ensuring that your samples are properly taken. And one of the things that's important is measuring your preservative in your sample jars, including the sample vials. So the meniscus of this should land right where the line is. If you line this up straight, you can actually see that it's fitting right there. So this is good. Sometimes what happens is, depending on storage or time, that decreases, and that throws off the analysis because the laboratory is counting the amount of material that's in it preservative wise. It's right here, 34 point something, when they do their calculations. So you want to make sure that that is well preserved and that you check that before you take your sample. So every time you take a new sample, just take a quick look and make sure that that is correct. You should also make sure that when you take your sample, that when you take the lid off of this, of course we change their gloves since using a marker, because that can affect some of the VOCs sometimes. But these methanol vials, you have to be very careful and make sure that you don't touch the interior of the lid. It's a Teflon light lid, but you don't want to touch the interior because that will also affect the results that you get. So make sure that part of your QA/QC is to make sure that you don't touch the interior of any of the lids, really, and try to be as careful when you take your sample to not touch the lids. I don't know if I mentioned you should not touch the lids on the inside. Don't touch the lids, not on the inside. You touch them on the outside. All you want, touch them on the outside, but don't touch them on the inside. Not great. So what you do now is you got your sample. You got your samples already filled out, and they're properly sampled. So use the same gloves because you're just grabbing the sample. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna put these guys in a sample cooler with some ice. This is kind of what it looks like. Make sure that you put the sample in contact with the ice packs. Sorry, not ice. You can put ice in there as well, but as long as you're preserving the sample as soon as you take it, to preserve all the VOCs and everything else, make sure that your sample quality is good. One kind of final, although it's usually the one that you start with, but the labeling of the samples. So make sure that you fill out your sample jars. I usually fill them out beforehand. Some people do the filling out after they take the sample. I like to fill out my sample jars beforehand. So make sure you fill out the project number, who sampled it, it's me, the sample ID, whatever you've decided to make it, the date, just so that the lab knows all that information. I typically have a drawing that I put together for every site that I'm at. I already have the location of where E4 was, so right now it's just a matter of getting this additional sample taken at a lower depth, which we're about to do.